Remember when Kanye pulled his "I'm gonna let you finish, Taylor" spectacle at the MTV Video Music Awards around a decade ago?
Kanye West and Taylor Swift are back in the news again, and this time it's not about an award show or a shady lyric. Taylor Swift took to Instagram and advocated voter registration to her 112 million followers, and also endorsed 2 Democratic candidates in Tennessee. And then just yesterday, Kanye met with President Donald Trump while wearing a Make America Great Again hat.
I'm Donovan Bennett, writer and host for Sportsnet. If you were to tell me back in 2009 that Taylor Swift, of all people, would be the liberal social justice warrior and Kanye West would be trumping literally for a Republican president, I would have thought you were crazy, but here we are.
I'm Ishani Nath, and I'm the senior editor at Flair.com.
I'm Stephen Marsh, a random Toronto writer. You know, Taylor Swift has never been woke. She's never tried to fuse her politics into her art or make her politics an aesthetic act. And I think we're starting to realize now, about 2 years into the Trump administration, with the antics of people like Kanye, just how healthy and even necessary that is.
Why are we even listening to celebrities when it comes to news and politics?
This is influencer culture at its peak.
So let's start with the topic a lot of people are still talking about more than 24 hours after Kanye West was in the White House speaking, some say ranting for 10 minutes straight, carried live by some of the news channels. And here's a little excerpt.
I love Hillary, I love everyone, right? But the campaign, I'm with her, just didn't make me feel as a guy that didn't get to see my dad all the time, like a guy that could play catch with his son. It was something about when I put this hat on, it made me feel like Superman.
Donovan, let's start with you. What do we make of that?
I mean, we were talking about this in the green room, and I've gone from being sad for him to mad at him to feeling indifferent. And I almost feel like the cocktail of the Kardashians and the Trump reality show has him so far in a sunken place that I feel like he's a missed opportunity because he's a musical genius and he has this platform and he's wasting it, but also he's normalizing the fact that you can just say things that aren't facts and expect to be believed.
What's your feeling on it, Ishani?
I feel like it is totally awful, and we need to stop there. Like, this should not be normal. We should not have a hip-hop artist being invited to the White House to advise the president. He has no qualifications to do that.
But the president doesn't have any qualifications, right? He's a reality television star.
That's a great point. And when people are mad at the fact that a celebrity, albeit Kanye on one side or Taylor Swift on the other, is talking about politics, the politician in the highest office is a celebrity. Like, celebrity culture got him there, and I think that's where we're at in 2018.
What about the role of the media in all of this? Even in our editorial meeting today, some people were saying it's not really fair to show 10 minutes of Kanye on the news channels because clearly this is a guy that's having some difficulties. He talked about being off his meds. Is it fair?
Look, I mean, the media vastly overrates its power all the time anyway, but in stuff
I don't think you can say that here.
I'm not allowed to say that on CBC. But in this case, it's really, you know, the cart is gone before the horse here. I mean, what's happening here is a social media phenomena that has absolutely nothing to do with what the New York Times or the CBC or legitimate, you know, news organizations are doing. This is all out there in the world of total image. And that's the world that Trump inhabits, it's the world that Kanye inhabits, and it's our world.
And Donovan, one other thing I want to ask about. At the beginning, you talked about the various emotions you had, and one of them was angry. You were at some points in this angry at Kanye. About what?
Well, I mean, first of all, you know, as a minority, as a black man, we don't often have that platform. And he could be speaking to real issues that impact his community, and he wasn't. He was talking about hydrogen planes and the president needs to be fly. And the other part that I'm angry at is the fact that, on the flip side, the president entertaining this at a time when, you know, people in Florida are struggling, people in Georgia are struggling, and sadly, the plight of other normal people at times falls on deaf ears.
Now, weirdly, Kanye West and Taylor Swift have been linked for years, dating back to 2009. You may remember this moment.
Yo, Taylor, I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish, but Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time.
So that was Kanye at, I think, the MTV Video Music Awards, going up there and interrupting what should have been Taylor Swift's moment in the sun, although she's had many moments since then. She's back in the news because on Sunday she posted on Instagram that people should be registering to vote. And also she was touting 2 Democratic candidates for the Senate in Tennessee. And a lot of people wondering, is it appropriate for her to be wading into the political waters? Is it maybe too late for her to do it? She should have done it before. Shawnee, what do you think?
So I'm going to step carefully because I know we have a Taylor Swift fan in the house.
And you are or not a fan?
And I am not. And I at first thought I was going to come in here and say, you know, she was way late on this. She should. What would have happened if she had done this in 2016? We could have been having a completely different conversation. But with Kanye on the other side, I think Taylor's example is advocating and standing up for something that you believe in and voicing your opinion, and that is her right. Where she is different than Kanye is she is not touting to be an expert. She's not saying, I know everything about this, here's what you should believe. She's advocating for people to make their own choices and also vote, and I don't think you can fault her for that.
I don't know that you fit into the classic Taylor Swift fandom demographic.
On the record is I think she's a superb artist.
Yeah,
I think she's a great singer-songwriter.
I actually
totally legitimate.
I actually feel that way too, legitimately. You're not laughing at us, are you?
No,
I think they're both laughing at us.
I didn't know that this was the demo. I'm learning.
Yeah.
I'm saying it's not the demo. But what did you feel about what she did on Sunday?
Well, you know, Taylor Swift has always sort of removed herself from politics. She's never, you know, she has no political songs. They're all just love songs. They're all songs about being a tortured 20-year-old with lots of money. But so, you know, for her, she has really not participated in the aestheticization of politics and the politics of art the way that so many pop stars have. But I mean, I think in 2018, it's really like, you know, they're losing their democracy now, and the time has come for everyone to make their politics clear. You can't really avoid it. So, you know, I actually think she's a model for how this works, right? Like Kanye, you know, Kanye has a genius that Taylor Swift will never have, right? Like Kanye has a genius where he just inhabits the moment of his time in such an iconic way and so fully. But that's also a really terrible thing because the time is so brutal and so dehumanizing. Whereas I think she's trying to find some kind of balance. And I just have a lot of respect for that.
Okay, let's completely change topics now. and this is a complicated one. This is about the ancestry DNA, which a lot of you are probably familiar with. Maybe you've gotten them to find out what your ancestry is. Linking up with Spotify, the streaming music service. And now what you can do is you can go to their website and you can get a stream that is compatible with your genetic background. Stephen, your genetic background apparently is Northern Italy.
Yeah, and Scotland as well.
What do you
worst
think of this?
musical playlist of all time.
Oh,
like, you know,
Easton.
oompa bands and like tattoo music, I think is probably what it would be. I mean, come on. Didn't we move to a new country in order to have access to the fruits of the world and the cultural fruits of the world? And like, I just cannot imagine why this would be tasteful to people.
There is that ad where people don't realize that they love Polish food until they realize that their ancestry is related to Poland. This is kind of the musical equivalent of that. I sense you don't like it.
I do not like this. A spokesperson for Ancestry talked about how this is a way for people to now not only read about their culture and have that data, but also experience their culture. And I think that idea encapsulates my whole issue with this, is that if people take this test, they think that they are somehow part of a culture just because their genetics have a certain percentage linking them to a region. That does not give you ownership of a culture that you were previously not part of. If I'm all of a sudden 2% Chinese, that does not make me Chinese Canadian. Culture is something we create, genetics are something we're born with, and conflating the two is dangerous.
Your view, Donovan?
Well, to me, I mean, me and my wife joke about ideas that were better in a boardroom, and then in real life, they're just not very good. And I think this is a great example. Like, where was the great need for this? Like, this niche that people needed. And for me, again, AI is supposed to make it better for you specifically because we understand your tastes, your likes.
Artificial intelligence, yeah.
Exactly, thank you.
Yeah, algorithms,
Yeah, and so for me, I want this curated to me specifically, not my ancestry. You know, my ancestry in many parts is West Indian. My wife's, from what I can tell, is West Hamilton. but she listens to more reggae music and eats more plantain than I do. Yeah. So I'm not really sure that this is going to be of interest to anyone.
Yeah, I plugged my genetics in there and it didn't have a single Abasol.
No, really.
Well, there you go.
You have no music.
Yeah, it did not reflect what I like. Okay, we have 30 seconds for each of you for your hot take, your suggestion of what people should watch, or Stephen, what they shouldn't.
I'm the only person you're going to hear this from, but A Star Is Born is not that good a movie. It's going to win all the awards, I'm sure. It fulfills checks all the boxes, but it's a melodrama with some pretty bad music in it and not very believable character arcs.
Okay, host privilege, the music's fantastic, the acting is incredible, but okay, that's fine.
Fine.
Your hot pick, hot take, or what to stay away from?
No, I think you need to watch this, need to binge watch it. It's HBO's The Circus.
So you got the final version?
It's a political docuseries.
Yeah, I have not seen it. I hear great things about it.
You need to. It basically recaps the week in Washington and beyond. Every Sunday night, they stop taping at Friday and they flip it by Sunday, which in the business is really tough.
Yeah.
It should be taught in civics classes and in journalism classes. It's great.
And it's on the movie channel, I think.
In Canada, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Ishani?
This is a show that's been around for a little while, Atypical.
It's a rough world out there. That's why you need your family.
So Atypical premiered last year. The second season just hit Netflix in September. It kind of died down in terms of buzz, but it's really, really great. It follows a teenage boy who's on the autism spectrum, and this season they actually hired 8 other actors with autism. So it's really great in terms of representing a group of people that we don't tend to see on screen. And it's just a great sitcom.
Sounds terrific. Are you guys podcast listeners?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so my pick is Nexium. It's a CBC podcast about, is it a sex cult? Is it just a self-improvement group?
I heard great things about that.
It is fantastic.
Yeah.
I've binge listened to it, and I recommend other people to too. It is so great talking to you guys. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.
Pleasure.